Hi everyone, so I'm going to start a flamingo. I've just flashed up the image that I'm going to work from. It's a lovely close-up, so you can see their gorgeous eyes and the patterns on their beaks and all the lovely feathers. So before, I just wanted to show you how I start an image. So I've got the close-up of the flamingo. His leg is chopped off where it goes into the water, but I'm not too fussed about that. What I did, I looked at the other image that I've also shown you, just to see rough proportions. How long is the head and the body compared to the legs? And I worked out that the top half is it's around 3/4. So the top of the head to the body is around 3/4 of the length. It's from half to 3/4 of the length. So I'm mumbling away. If this is the top of the head and this is where the leg enters the water, the bottom of the body is going to come roughly between halfway and 3/4 of the way. So what I've just done, I've marked a little line at the top for the top of the head and a little line here down for where the leg meets the water. And if I don't do this, I always find myself coming off the page. So I'll start to draw and I'm loving it, and then my legs will be down here way off my image. So if I put little markers in to start me off, I know I can't go beyond that. So I've got a line at the top of the head, a line for where I want the body to be, and then a line where I want the legs to meet the water, so I can have some ripples and a little bit of water down here. So I've got those lines in. And then likewise, I'll just do, if I put a rough head shape in, and I love these are kind of like oval shapes. I've got an oval there, a big oval for the beak, and so I've got the image in front of me. If I just do a quick measurement, so I always hold up I always work from the top of the pencil, and I use my thumb as a rough measurement, and I'm just going to measure the head compared to the beak, and the beak is just a little bit longer, a bit bigger, a bit longer than the head. So I'm going to bring that down. That's that bit there. So that's my head. And what I love about this is always just rough. All these first lines that I always make will always be wrong. I'll always change them. And even this, thinking about it, my body's going to come over here. So if I draw it in, I'll show you. If I put my neck in here, and the bottom of the neck sticks up more than the head, and then put my body in, I'm coming quite close to the end there. So I'm gonna just move him over a touch. So if I bring my head here. And it's okay to go wrong, it's okay to change things, it's part of the learning curve. So I'm popping my head back in. You can tell I don't plan any of this, I just go for it and have fun with it and enjoy it. Here's my beak. Here's the bottom of my head. And this is my neck. Coming around. So while I'm drawing here, while I'm making these marks, I have got the image in front of me on my laptop, and I'm always going, even when it looks like I'm drawing straight on the paper, I'm always looking at my image, changing it, adjusting it, and then looking at my paper as well. So I'll be doing this. I just wanted to show you, this is my process of doing it. Obviously, you don't have to do it like this. And this is the other thing. So I've got my body up here. I use parts of the body and what's on my page already to guide my measurements. So if I look at the top of the body on the flamingo, so where I've got my beak, the top of the body actually comes that much below the beak. So I know this is where my body is going to sit. And it's this lovely colour. It's almost flat along the body, bottom here, and then you've got this lovely curve at the top. So round here, really tapering out towards the end there. And I've grown in size as well. So then now for my first markings I've gone way bigger, but never mind, I'm going to have his leg coming off there. If you don't want to do any of this drawing, you can do all this drawing in your sketchbook, and then when you're happy with it in your sketchbook, transfer it onto a piece of nice watercolour paper, ready for your watercolour painting. Because watercolour paper does not like all the rubbing out on it. It starts to destroy the surface. And not like most paper actually, a lot of the paper doesn't like worked into too much. Unless you're going to go really thick and heavy with all your paint and media. And then another thing that I look out for is the negative space. So the negative space is the space around the outside. So on this flamingo, it will be this space here in the middle of the head and the neck. So I'm just going to follow my pencil up on the line to what I can see in front of me. And I know that's a pretty good shape. That shape is the shape I can see in front of me. And likewise, there's another really good negative space just in there. It's a tiny one. And then this bit here as well. A lot of the negative spaces are corners. And that's a great one there to look out for. See if you've got the right shaping of the back of him. So I'm just going to work into that, check it against here, and then we're ready to add some paint.
Anyways, where are you going? Go on, be working it out, Holly. Come on, because you're nearly finished. Anyways, come on, finish your homework. Eloise, you've only got 2 more questions. Go on, sit and finish it, and then that's that one done. No, come on, you work it out. I've been working it out in my head. I think I know what one. Yeah, I do. So you work it out. You might even want to draw a picture of the different shapes to help you work it out. You get a bit of paper, start working it out. From what it says, work out the shape. Anyways, go and get a bit of paper, start working it out. You've only got 2 questions left, and then you're finished. really good. Thanks, Emma. The name record better. We're going to be muted. Huh? We're going to be muted. Yeah, I'm going to put music on in the background.
Hi everyone, so I was just looking at my picture and the photograph that I've got, it's a really kind of coral image, it's a lovely orangey image. So I was just going through all of my paints that I've got and I am a complete mess, I've realised, with all of my paints. So I usually, when I'm teaching, I try and keep just to one tin, going backwards and forwards into classes. So I started off with this one. This is the Cotman Winsor & Newton. And I can't remember how many years ago I got this. And this was my trusted favourite. And then I treated myself in the Cassart sale. They do brilliant sales. So if you are looking to get anything, wait for the sale and it will always come up, I guarantee you. So then I treated myself to the professional one. But then in between that, I'm loving buying some tubes. And even on the sides here, you can see in my mixing tins, I've put some of the tube colours because I love any colours that I haven't got in here. I love putting little dollops at the side as well. And then on top of that, I've got this big one as well. And I've got certain colours from my tubes going on in here. And this is a great one to transport with me. Sometimes there will only be a couple of colours in here that I'll need for the lesson. So I can just take this with me as well. But because of that, my whole palette and all my colours are here, there and everywhere. So don't watch this as a how to do it, more as a how not to do it, because I have stuff all over the place, but that's fine with me. But what I've realised is, so with these corally colours, so I was just looking through all the colours that I've got, and in my Cotman set, I've got this lovely cadmium red, but it's a cadmium light hue. So it's not as deep or as dark. So it's like a really orangey red, which is going to be fantastic for the Flamingo. So I've got that colour, and I've also got this colour. And I always forget what colour that is. If I can, Permanent Rose. So that's my pinky colour. So these are the two colours. I was just doing a little play around with the colours. And the coral, it looks like coral on the paper, that's actually my cadmium light. And then you can see the Permanent Rose, I've put some pinks over and added water for the lighter areas. So I was really liking all those different shades. And then in the background, because these are like orangey, more orangey shades. So the colour opposite of the orange is the blue. And I was loving the turquoisey blues. So what I'm going to go for the background, especially for the water, I wanted that really vivid, not quite sure how I'm going to do it yet. I might just go really loose and crazy. But for that really lovely sky and that sea, the water, I wanted to play around with the blues. And I've got a turquoise here. Who was it? So John Singer Sargent, from looking at his watercolours, he always added turquoise into his watercolours, and it just made his paint, well, he was an amazing artist, but it just made his paintings come alive. It's a really lovely colour. I'd really recommend that one. And then this is one of the blues that I got. I can't even remember the name of it. I think it's in Throne Blue that I got from Daniel Smith. And it's literally just because it's on my palette, I'm loving it. It's just slightly different. But if I didn't have that, I'd probably go for a Farlow blue. That's a really lovely one. And the Prussian blue, even a touch of indigo. So any of those darker blues, bluey greenies, to go with your turquoise is lovely. So that's what I just had a little dash around with there as well. And I like those colour combos together. If I hold that up, you can see that a bit better. So this is, because being teaching, always doing little samples in classes. But this is a good one for you guys as well. So if you've ever got a painting that's gone wrong, you don't like it, don't throw it away. They're either great to work on top of or just to keep, to do little colour swatches. try different effects. You can see here I've tried showing people the different effects they can do in class, but they're great. And even on the back, they're all different ones that we did in the past as well. So always keep hold of a scrap of paper so that you can test all your different colours and all your different textures and samples ready to go, and that makes you feel a bit more confident rather than going straight onto your paper as well. So hi everyone, I've got an outline of my flamingo. I'm quite happy with it, although I have gone out of my initial markers. I've come down a little bit much. I'm terrible for that, always going off the page. So try and learn from me and not do what I do and try and keep it in better proportion. But I do, going bigger, turning it into a positive, going bigger, I can get more detail and get some lovely kind of feather shapes on the body here. So that's going to work out well. I was just having a look at my flamingo. So I've erased any lines that I didn't want. And again, if you've drawn it in your sketchbook, this is the time to transfer it, trace it onto a nice bit of watercolour paper ready to paint on top of. So I've got my outline ready to go. I've erased any lines that I don't want. I was just gonna, some brushes. So at the side here I've got different size round brushes I'm gonna stick to for this, because if I push my brush down I can get lovely feather shapes. That's gonna be lovely on the body. And the other thing, I was just looking at different styles. So I'm going to have some wetting to wear. I'm going to leave some of the paper showing through, and then I quite like the idea of doing some dry layers on top of the dry layers. And then again, because I've gone bigger, I can get some lovely detail on this beak and around this eye, and at which case I will switch over to some of my smaller, finer brushes, and the rigger brush is going to be lovely. If I just like that to show you the point, the rigger brush is going to be lovely to get that line going up the flamingo's beak. So I'm going to get painting, and hopefully you can see what I'm doing as I go.